very good evening to you watching UBC TV. Tonight, it's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team here. In our first story this evening, President Yoweri Museveni has called for blocking of all the ways and causes of disabling, and adding that the number of people with HIV, I beg your pardon, that the number of people with disabilities should not grow beyond 4.4 million of the national population. The president was speaking during celebrations to mark the International Day for People with Disabilities. The national venue for the celebrations was at Kamwenge Primary School grounds in Kamwenge District, Western Uganda. According to the National Population Census of 2014, the population of people with disabilities in Uganda stood at 4.4 million. The celebrations focused on the theme, employment of persons with disabilities is key to sustainable and resilient society for all. During the celebrations, various people with disabilities, both young and old, hailing from various districts and unions and the National Umbrella Organization, displayed a variety of commercial and income-generating products like handcrafts, fabrics, artwork, assistive devices, among others, to depict that disability is not inability. They also showcased different presentations of entertainment. Addressing himself to the issue of employment opportunities for people with disabilities, Museveni highly commended the excellent performance of some elements of people with disabilities in society, emphasizing that disability has nothing to do with working. He, however, advised that the better method of people with disability is self-employment. He observed that Operation Wealth Creation Program at household level is another method using the line of special grant from the government. The president called for the establishment of more vocational training institutions with emphasis on equipping people with disabilities with different relevant skills. He remarked that when the National Resistance Movement took power in 1986, it instituted affirmative action, gender balance, women emancipation that has so far resulted into the introduction of slots of representation in Parliament for women, the youth, the disabled, soldiers and workers. Minister of State for Gender and Culture, Peace Motuzo, said that the forces and causes of disability are diverse and constitute a hindrance to accessing socio-economic development. She reported that 2040 National Vision prohibits any further discrimination of people with disabilities with a view to addressing issues of inequality among the vulnerable persons. The minister also observed that advancement in technology sets a challenge to people with disability with regard to ICT. She therefore appealed to government to develop an ICT policy on disabilities. She called on development partners, UNICEF, UNDP and the media, among others, to supplement and uplift services to people with disabilities. The chairperson of the Uganda National Union of Disabled People in Uganda, Nodipu, Miss Knight Grace, observed that the celebration of the day constitutes recognition of the potential of people with disabilities to achieve great success in whatever they undertake, promotion of their cause and drawing attention for all not to be discriminated. She appealed to the government to consider people with disabilities for all inclusiveness, for employment opportunities, and also to increase the budget of the responsible ministry for the benefit of people with disability. In more news, President Yoweri Museveni's support towards renovations and reconstruction of Lira Diocese Catholic Cathedral and the Bishop's House has been boosted by Centenary Bank.
So I said, okay, in that case, I add another 200 million.
President Yoweri Museveni is supporting towards renovations and reconstruction of Lira Diocese Catholic Cathedral, and Bishop's House has been boosted more Centenary Bank. During a recent fundraising drive in Lira, the diocesan bishop, Right Reverend Joseph Franzelli, explained to the president that his presence was significant for the church as it prepares to celebrate its Golden Jubilee.
In order to be a real family, based on a deep faith, united among ourselves, and working together for the good of our church and our country.
During the launch of the fundraising, President Museveni donated over 400 million to close some gap for the Christians.
But when I came today, the bishop told me that my fellow Christians,
Bishop wa Episcopal wa Franzelli teko bene o Kristo wore.
They are putting Romo blood. They are putting Romo Matidi.
Following the president's contribution and poverty-biting Christians in Lira Diocese, Centenary Bank has also contributed 10 million to support the reconstruction of the church and bishop's residence before the Golden Jubilee celebration next year in June.
Of 10 million shillings towards the expansion and the reconstruction of our facility. The other time we said we shall come back. God bless you.
In more news away from Lira, Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga has congratulated the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. The Speaker said she will call for a meeting with Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto to resolve the problem of cross-border issues that are said to be fueling female genital mutilation. The duo were re-elected last month as President and Deputy for another 5-year term in office for the Republic of Kenya.
Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto contributed 33 million Ugandan shillings for the construction of a classroom block to improve learning of Tumbaboi, Kaptanya Sub-County, Kapchora District last year. 2 more similar schools were to be built in the Sabini districts of Kwen and Buko to improve the education standards in the region to prevent female genital mutilation and early marriages. It was also to save girls from trekking long distances looking for secondary education due to the limited secondary schools in the region. The school, born in 2014, was an initiative of the community but has dilapidated structures not suitable for learning of students. However, the construction stalled after Kenyans were angry about the action and accused the Ruto of spending their money in a foreign country, threatening to deny him votes.
Okay, I'll ask the Deputy President to lift the Bible with the left hand.
Last month, William Ruto was re-elected Deputy President of Kenya and Uhuru Kenyatta as President respectively.
I assume as Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
And I want to congratulate President Kenyatta and Deputy President Ruto with the election, because now we can continue with the programs we have been doing. But I want to thank Vice President Ruto for his contribution, which you have seen and where we have laid the foundation stone today.
Officiating at the Sabini Cultural Day celebrations themed eradicating FGM and girl child marriages on Thursday last week at Tumbaboi Primary and Secondary School grounds in Kapchora District, the Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga learnt of reports of sneaking young girls into Kenya for circumcision, saying her meeting with William Ruto will resolve the matter.
I wanted to address this issue last year, but the Kenyans were busy with the elections. But now that they are finished, I'm going to have a meeting with the Vice President Ruto so that we lay a strategy for the cross-border activities.
The Speaker said she was aware of the existence among some communities that practice FGM, but re-emphasized her commitment towards fighting the practice.
I will continue coming. I will not stop until the FGM has ended in the whole of Spain. I want to ask Honorable Kionga, for this coming year, please let me know early enough. I want to come to Amudan.
Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto is said to have had origins from the Sabini land and has always been a strong partner in the development initiatives in Sabei Diocese and the region. During meetings between the Sabini community in Kampala and NRM legislators from Sabei in Eldoret and Nairobi in 2015, Mr. Ruto agreed to improve border security and school standards in Ibukwo, Ngenge in Kwen, and Tumbabo in Kapchorwa. Bernard Yiga, UBC TV, Kapchorwa.
Book business is a specialized area that needs a lot of public relations, complete with persuasive language that attracts those whose reading culture has dropped or deficient. This is what Florence Lusiba of Gastro Book Center, Old Kampala, who mastery of the trade is unmatched, has set herself to order to revive the book reading culture in Uganda. They might have set the bar slightly higher, but that is the expected standard in a business where potential readers are shifting their interests to other information platforms.
Book business is neither for the faint-hearted, nor is it for the impatient. It is not for every Tom, Dick and Harry.
Shoemaker, the little red hen, very good for the classroom.
A number of librarians may need a lot of knowledge and mastery of the books at their disposal to charm and refresh the book reading culture to actualize information dissemination.
They all come in a variety of prices, so you don't have to say, I cannot get a book. We have some for 4,400, the others are 6,000. We even have the others for 11. It all depends what you're looking for. The higher the price, usually the content is much more.
Florence Lusiba's liveliness, as points at any reader effortlessly, is a reminder that librarians and information service people need up to their profession and break the barriers of reading culture, antagonizing the public from embracing the reading culture.
Something you don't see. You have to physically show the person what you have. And we've given them time to look through. They're also going to get more time to come and go section, subject by subject, and see what books apply. Right now, we're trying to promote vocational. We have a variety of vocational books.
Lusiba has had to be convincing in her book business because of the passion and hope that the book reading culture and interest in information gathering will soon be revived through value addition and packing.
A child at a young age can actually do a presentation as long as you give them the right books. Whatever they've learned, if they learned about trees, transport, anything, they can do a presentation.
Buiga East Member of Parliament, Tinkasimire Barnabas, was won over and ended buying books for himself and his children.
100 readers, 5 copies of 20 tales, so they can read in groups. Now this one is called Folk and Fairy Tales. There's 75 books, 5 copies of 15 stories.
For Lusiba, who is marketing manager at Gustro Book Center, this good approach to book business is what all librarians and information people ought to adopt in order to make book reading enjoyable, persuasive, attractive, and worth venturing into.
Don't neglect the young children when it comes to reading. We have a lot of books that can work for them. And encourage them to read through primary and through secondary. But once you develop that skill at the early age, a child will do the job of himself.
No wonder Gustro Book Center was selected to host a librarians' 3-day conference that was opened by the Commissioner for Information and National Guidance, Moses Watasa, and closed by Uganda Royal University Vice Chancellor, Professor Isaac Chigongo Bukenya.
And let's make libraries, let's raise libraries to where they belong. In my view, libraries should be up there. Any sort of development, wherever you are, depends on information. We say that information is the catalyst of development.
Uganda Library Information Services Association President Dr. Florence Kadu was the host.
We should embrace the reading culture because all the information is now available in various formats and various media. So we are now not confining people to only the book. You can get information from the libraries, which are the traditional storekeepers of information. You can also get the information from the smartphones.
The training attracted participants from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda.
The new libraries policy to recognize librarians and information scientists? And if you were to be placed in a ministry, which one would you prefer to be the technical ministry?
Story compiled by Deo Habimana for UBC News.
And with that story, we'll take a short break. Do not miss what we have after this break. Yes, welcome back from the break. This is News Tonight. Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda has returned from the 5th African Union European Union Summit that took place recently in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. The AU-EU Summit brought together European Union and African leaders and was aimed at defining the future direction for the cooperation between the two continents. The meeting adopted a joint declaration outlining common priorities for the African partners and the AU.
Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda is back from the 5th African Union European Union Summit that has been going on in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Rugunda represented President Yoweri Museveni at the summit of the African and European heads of state and government under the theme Investing in Youth for a Sustainable Future. The Premier said the EU has been a key development partner with Africa for many years, adding that deepening this relationship is more relevant than ever. He said the AU-EU summit is a key moment and opportunity to strengthen political and economic ties between the two continents, adding that this is a key priority for Africa.
I expect you to balance the trade, yes, and make sure that we promote investment and trade so that we can have a balanced trade that is mutually beneficial. That's the way to sustain relations. So from that point of view, therefore, you'll not only be having the market of Uganda, but indeed the market of the whole region. Sure. That's correct.
Premier Rugunda said the year 2017 is a defining time for the AU-EU relations, as it has been 10 years since the adoption of the joint African-AU strategy. While in Abidjan, the Premier met with the Belgian Vice Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Didier Reinders, the Secretary General of the Inter-African Coffee Organization, Fred Kauma, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Sahrawi Republic. Rugunda also held discussions with the Prime Minister of Algeria. He also met with Czech Republic Minister of Regional Cooperation, Karia Seretova, Republic of Austria Secretary of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Mina Duzidar, and Danish Minister for Development Cooperation, Tula Tones. He also met with the Secretary Boris Johnson of UK and the Right Honourable Pravida Kumar Jugnauth, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius. The Ugandan delegation included the Minister for Gender, Hajat Janat Mukwaya, and the Minister for Regional Cooperation, Dr. Philemon Mateke. The summit was also attended by the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, the President of the African Union, and the Chairperson of the African Union Commission. This report was compiled by Rose Oyeri.
Now, another contingent of Ugandan troops who have been battling the Al-Shabaab militants have received a grand send-off after 1 year of service in Somalia. Battle Group 20 of the Uganda People's Defense Forces was feted by the African Union Mission in Somalia at a send-off ceremony held at the base camp at the Mogadishu capital.
Peacekeepers of the Battle Group 20, whose troops have completed a 1-year tour on duty in Somalia, have been awarded medals and certificates for their exemplary service in the peacekeeping mission.
Moto aliwaka Barawi. Thanks a lot.
The special representative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission for Somalia, Simon Mulongo, said there is no higher price than offering oneself for the sake of others to live happier.
No higher price than one offering his or her own life for the sake of others to live in happiness and development. I would like to, for that matter, on behalf of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, and on behalf of my senior colleague who is not able to be here, Ambassador Francis Keitano Madeira, and indeed the entire fraternity of AMISOM, to congratulate Battle Group 20 for this huge and significant contribution.
Battle Group 20 deployed a year ago under the command of Colonel Bernard Tuhame and the overall leadership of Brigadier Muhanga Kayanja, served in Barawe, Buromara, Beleda Min, and Gubwain in Lower Shabelle region, Villa Somalia, the National Stadium and Mogadishu International Airport in Banadil region.
It costs additional courage for you to say, I must maintain the aim to execute the mission. But for those who feel the loss, it can be as poignant and hurting as you can imagine.
The outgoing Ugandan contingent commander, Brigadier Kayanja Muhanga, noted that other than military operations, the contingent had also supported the recruitment, training and mentoring of the Somali National Army personnel within its area of responsibility.
Being able to be very vigilant, by being very active, by carrying out active defense operations. We have been very active in this. You know, Al-Shabaab is always watching because they are within the population, but they have not been able to attack or overrun any of our FOBs for the last 1 year. That's a very big achievement.
Uganda's Deputy Ambassador to Somalia, Major General Nathan Mugisha, thanked the UN, the federal government of Somalia, and international partners for the support they extended to the Ugandan contingent under AMISOM. He also commended the troops for excelling in their operations, despite the difficult conditions they operated in.
This opportunity to thank the battle group commander and his officers and men who have managed to withstand the situation, control the men, and be able to operate successfully and come back safely.
Bernard Higa and Fredericks Idia, UBC.
Now, Uganda is a country endowed with many cultures that govern communities, among which include marriage and bride price. Uganda Broadcasting Corporation brings you the highlights of an introduction ceremony held in Teso sub-region, where our very own Philip Aguta was the main man.
Friends, workmates and relatives of the UBC's scribe Philip Aguta were filled with jubilation on their Teso tune of welcome in Usiku village in Katakwi district to meet the parents of Anja Elingat.
Hey!
Like any other girl child on this land, Angela Elingat was brought up by her aunties after losing the parents through a rebellion war in Katakwi district.
The Bible says it's God who knits the hearts of men. I am not surprised that God has been able to knit the heart of Angela and to that of Philip. Sincerely is the joy of my heart to both these children, this boy and girl, today becoming husband and wife. Because when I listen to the story of Philip, it's the same story with Angela. It makes me feel and know that it's really a divine connection of God for Philip to come from all the way from Arua to pick a very humble girl with a very humble background. You've seen our village, you've seen our setup, you've seen a humble people. No wonder this is a humble community that has brought up a humble girl.
Angela is the first girl to be married officially in this sub-country after many years. Marriage in this part of the country involved paying of the bride price in form of dowry. Angela's parents received 4 cows and 6 goats from their daughter. An envelope that contains some money is dropped in the compound. Then the girl picks it after she has read it as a sign of agreeing to the proposal from the intending fiancé. The ceremony is now permitted to continue. Philippa Gota was received in this family with words of caution from relatives and friends. Other family members also advised the girls to always value their spouses and compliment to each other on matters related to building and keeping their marriages upstanding for many years.
One thing I know, Angela, you're a very hardworking girl. Angela, you're a very disciplined girl. I have disciplined you, you know it. Very many times I have caned you, I have advised you. If what I have instilled in you, you are not going to put it into practice when you get into Philip's home, seriously, there is no other person who will teach you.
Sandra Kahonde and Sam Nalwala, BC.
Yes, one would say it was a blast in Wusuk, Katakwit district. We congratulate Philip and Angela and wish them all the best. Meanwhile, in a bid to eradicate sleeping sickness and Nagana in the country, government, through its line Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, has launched a nationwide campaign to eradicate tsetse flies. This nationwide campaign has started in Kalangala Islands, where 80% of the islands are tsetse flies infested.
Uganda government is quickly adopting new technology to help ease the disease burden, especially in hard-to-reach areas. This has been witnessed in Kalangala, where a nationwide campaign to rid the nation of tsetse flies has gathered pace and is now at full capacity by use of drones. This latest technology is achieved with support from the International Atomic Energy Agency and includes interventions like hot fogging and live bait technology. Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries Vincent Sempige explains how this new method of tsetse fly eradication will work and later enable economic progress in those areas.
And this time we have benefited from the newest or the latest technologies of using the drone to take the sterile male tsetse flies to the bushes, to those hidden dark corners of the jungles, so that they can mate with those female tsetse flies. And then, of course, as you know the technology, as you know the biology of tsetse flies, a female tsetse fly mates once in its lifetime. So once it mates with a sterile male tsetse fly, then that will be the end of it. It will lay eggs which are not fertilized, and therefore the cycle of tsetse flies will be stopped.
Kalangala District Local Council Chairperson William Lugolobi says the situation in the district was getting worse and has affected economic activities, notably tourism.
It is real for Kalangala District. Kalangala District almost at one time, around 1930s, the entire population was almost wiped out by tsetse flies. They are a problem to human beings, they are a problem to livestock, and they are scaring away our tourists.
Earlier efforts to control tsetse flies and trypanosomiasis on Kalangala Islands and other areas have been undertaken by government through tsetse fly control projects, which helped reduce tsetse fly population by at least half. Report compiled by Henry Okech.
State Minister for Sports Charles Bakabulindi has tasked parents to emphasize the spirit of patriotism to their children from an early age.
When patriotism classes were first introduced in Uganda a few years ago, many thought they would never pick up. How wrong they were, because now education institutions, including primary schools, have taken up the mantle of instilling the art of patriotism in their pupils. These mainly use music, dance and drama.
You should be polite while talking to people in the community and in the entire society. Just a word that you should be polite at all times. Yes, politeness is vital, necessary, and a must to every good young boy and girl. Wow, you should be humble while talking to anyone older than you. Say sorry when you hurt someone. Say please when you want something from someone. Say thank you when you get something from someone. Be concerned when your neighbor gets a problem.
This has been evidenced at Train Up a Child Nursery and Primary School in Bugorobi. With the longest local school holiday looming large, parents advised how children need to be tamed and made resourceful.
Well, children are now going for their holidays. And it's very important as parents that we make sure that our children, first of all, go to church. Children must learn to pray. Because as they go to pray to church, they get teachings. And indeed, that's how children will be brought up in the right morals.
These patriotism theme songs of loving one's nation, irrespective of social, political, or economic situation, are punctuated by a deliberate effort of bringing up an upright and fully informed Ugandan.
Advance Africa, an NGO based in Gulu, has conducted a music, dance and drama festival among Gulu prisoners under the sponsorship of Caritas Switzerland and the European Union. The event was also part of an occasion where prison authorities unveiled a set of brand new jazz band musical equipment, which was donated by the Germany Embassy in Kampala.
Inmates at Gulu and Lira prison had time to smile and share some fun during a day-long music, dance and drama competition organized by Uganda Prison Service. The competition, which was between the male and female inmates, saw ladies outclassing their male counterparts. The event was also part of the occasion to unveil a brand new jazz band equipment for the inmates donated by the Germany Embassy in Kampala through Dance Africa, an NGO based in Gulu. The country director of Advanced Africa, Rwankangi Ronald, believes that through drama and music festivals, communities benefit from entertainment and from the messages from the performers.
I'm very excited by the fact that your messages were very, very strong on access to justice. So for that matter, we are continuing to push a program, and we hope that we can use arts to advocate for access to justice for the inmates in this country.
A representative from the Germany Embassy, Bajita Grokiski, appreciated the role of Advance Africa for the help in rehabilitation of the inmates and pledged their support.
We really want to encourage also these activities and to encourage the inmates further, follow up on the previous speaker. Did you know that in Malawi, a prison band was nominated for the 2016 Grammy? So, who knows, maybe in one stage we hear Gulu prison is nominated for such an award. So, work hard.
The Commissioner of Prisons, Namfuka Elizabeth, advised the inmates to take advantage and develop their talents while still in prison, since all the facilities are available.
And even when we get out of the prison, please let me change agents. Change agents was talked about by someone. let's not leave it here, let's be change agents out there, so that we help our colleagues not come to prison. Let's tell them through music, through art, that prison is not good. Yes, we are working here, but we don't wish that people come to prison.
Daniel Bagonza, an inmate in Glue prison, says through this initiative, he believes after his sentence, he will be one of the best Ugandan musicians.
Music will be the best way of rehabilitating the prisoners, because in music we have the messages, and these messages the community want to hear.
Story compiled by Fredericks Idia for UBC.
Thank you, Fredericks. Well-wishers and friends of Reach Out Mbuya participated in an AIDS Day charity run organized by Reach Out Mbuya with an aim of raising school fees for over 400 vulnerable but bright children. It is from this point that the Executive Director, Reach Out Mbuya Justin Chihika, called for regular HIV testing and starts medication early campaign.
Over 1.5 million people in Uganda are affected by HIV, and the number of orphans as a result. According to Reach Out Mbuya, this has led to an AIDS charity run aimed at raising money to pay for the over 400 learners at all levels of education affected by HIV/AIDS. The Executive Director, Reach Out Mbuya Justin Chihika, is the brain behind the initiative.
Reach Out Mbuya has, since it has started, has supported over 11,000 orphans and vulnerable children, giving them support in various ways. Funds that we are raising are to be used to pay for school fees for these orphans. Last year, we raised about 50 million, and we used this money to pay for school fees for about 40 children in secondary school.
Some of the beneficiaries of previous assistance now want more funds raised to educate other vulnerable children and orphans.
Reach Out to enyambye mu ngeri bweti nti emperedde paka wetuse ku university ne graduating na graduating guno omwaka guno mwezi ogw'omunaana nga 25 naye nga kyonna kye banyambye bubadde busobozi bw'abantu mu community.
I didn't reach out to my mom, and I was enrolled into school fees, whereby I studied. When I finished, they gave me another chance, and I joined the vocational training.
Reach Out Mbuya looks after over 11,000 in form of paying school fees, scholastic material, medication, and counseling. Morini Ganchafigana Lubanga compiled the report.
Business news tonight. Uganda College of Commerce Kabale graduated 906 students during their 10th graduation ceremony with 147 scooping first-class diplomas. The principal of the college, Dr. Stephen Tumusime, emphasized the need for more funding to help in infrastructure development for better learning and skills development there.
I would like to buy in infrastructure. Our guest of honor, now in my capacity as the chairperson for Principals Forum for Uganda College of Commerce, I wish to inform you that while most other tertiary institutions, including my friend from UTC founder, they have been supported by external funding from development partners, donors, World Bank, etc. The UCCs have remained unsupported.
With the ministry to ensure that the graduates that come from all institutions across the country have competencies, key competencies, have skills, and that's why we always emphasize that our students, regardless of the program we are taking, they must undertake a real-life project. That if you are going to be a carpenter, show us that you can make a chair.
Is that I don't know whether you have made your presentation to the Salary Review Commission, but when I compared 600,000 with your qualifications, I realized there is a very big mismatch, which we also need to address as people in policy and decision making. This one I will also take it to the relevant organs for action. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So once again,
congratulations all of you once again for obtaining a first-class diploma and certificates in your respective disciplines. Congrats, and wish you the very best in your careers.
Now, in news beyond Ugandan borders, the Kenya Railway Corporation will soon launch the commercial cargo services on the SGR line between Mombasa and Nairobi. In an exclusive interview with UBC, Engineer Atanans Maina, the Managing Director, Kenya Railways Corporation, said that the cargo service on the standard gauge railway will complement cargo transport by trucks and also help decongest the Mombasa port. The new development in Kenya follows the success story of the SGR passenger services that was inaugurated mid this year.
It is 3 p.m. in Kenya's capital city, Nairobi. Hundreds of commuters are seen queuing and rushing to catch the 3:30 p.m. train to Mombasa. According to Engineer Atanas Maina, the Kenya Railways Corporation Managing Director, the SGR passenger train has become the transport means of choice for travelers between Mombasa and Nairobi.
And so far, I would say we started off with one train. We were doing one train from Mombasa, one train from Nairobi. And the uptake has been very, very impressive. So the trains are full every day, upwards of 95% taken. So come 1st of November, we decided to launch another train, what we call the inter-county train. These are the trains that stop at the 7 county stations between Mombasa and Nairobi, which makes it possible for people within those areas to be able to access other destinations between Mombasa and Nairobi. And that, again, the uptake has been impressive. We are doing, from the 2,400 people we were doing per day, now we are doing 4,800 people per day.
Thousands of commuters use the train on a daily basis due to its reliability, affordability, safety and convenience. A ride in economy class goes for Kenya shillings 700, about 24,500 Ugandan shillings. First class goes for 3,000 Kenyan shillings, about 105,000 Ugandan shillings, for the 5-hour, 472-kilometer trip.
We are doing what you'd call equivalent of upwards of 80 buses per day. 80 buses a day is a significant. That's what you'd call a disruption.
Kenya's standard gauge railway passenger train service was inaugurated on 31st May of 2017. Passenger services began commercial operation under the name of the Madaraka Express. After the success of the passenger services, Kenya Railways Corporation will soon begin commercial cargo services between Mombasa and Nairobi.
It's not that we're killing the truck business 100%. There's still a new opportunity for the last mile.
Our trains are pulling between 90 and 108 containers. And that is equivalent of about 45 to 55 trucks off the road. And from the time the cargo is availed to the operator, to the time it gets to Nairobi, we are doing that in less than 24 hours. So we are saying what was done by 50 trucks on the road, which would take 48 hours to get to Nairobi, we are doing it within 24 hours.
The Mombasa-Nairobi SGR will link up with other standard gauge railways that are being built in East Africa. Phase 2 of SGR, which is expected to be completed by 2021, will extend the railway to the Uganda border of Malaba. It is expected by then Uganda would have finished its phase from Malaba to Kampala.
Let's now talk sport. Both gender categories of the 2017 National Volleyball League play-off finals will require a decider third game. This follows leveling of the series at 1-1 by both sportists in the men's category against Nemo Stars and Vision Volleyball Camps, drawing level with Nkumba University in the women's category. In the men's second game, Nemo Stars through players like George Aporu and Smith Okumo seemed poised to clinch the championship after taking a 2-0 set lead and playing pretty well. But the ugly head that sport can present turned up, and the once imperious Nemo Stars were out of sorts and in the process gave away the 2-set lead and ultimately succumbed to a 3-2 defeat by an invigorated Sporters team. Sporters will have to thank players like Ton Magambo, Sam Kija, Alan Tumukunde and Ivan Ongom for the turnaround that forces a decider game next week. In the women's playoff final game 2 at the MTN Arena Lugogo, Vision Volleyball Camp had Irina Moding, Margaret Namialo and Irina Deke in inspiring form as they beat Nkumba 3-2 to level the series at 1-1. Uganda Christian University Lady Cannons has moved to within just a game of winning this year's national basketball title following a deserved 77-60 defeat of Kampala Capital City Authority Leopards. During the game played at the YMCA Wandegear, Kampala Capital City Authority Leopards took the early initiative, leading 44-24 at halftime. The second half, however, turned out differently, with Uganda Christian University Lady Cannons eating into the Kampala Capital City Authority Leopards lead and in fact ultimately winning 67-60. Judith Nansobia was like has been the case throughout these playoffs, being inspiration for the reigning champions that now lead the best-of-7 series by 3-1. The two teams contest Kampala 4 on Monday, with Kampala Capital City Authority Leopards knowing that only victory can save them an embarrassing series whitewash. Still in sports, the Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup has kick-started in Nairobi, Kenya, with 11 countries competing for honors. Harambee Stars began their Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup campaign with a 2-0 win over Rwanda in a match staged at the Bukungu Stadium in Kakamega. Kenya dominated play from the start before being awarded a penalty after Sota Kayumba fouled Atudo in the area, and it was Masood Juma converting the chance from the spot to put Kenya in the lead. The hosts continued pressurizing for Duncan Otieno, converting the second goal in the 37th minute. While Uganda Cranes play Burundi this Monday, here are the highlights of the game between Kenya against Rwanda.
Who scored this second goal for Kenya with a beauty of a strike, beauty of a shot, and most of the fans here will always remember, look at this from Otieno, from the angle, ball cut backhands, what a strike from Otieno. Kenya are currently in cloud 9.
Beautiful goal there. But away from Sekafa, Uganda Rugby Sevens team head coach Tolbert Onyango is optimistic that his team has learnt enough lessons from the HSBC Dubai Sevens tournament. Uganda finished 14 at the tournament, which is an improvement from the last time at the same event where the team managed 15th. In its 3 group games, Uganda lost to eventual winners. South Africa 19-10 was beaten 29-14 by Kenya and fell 22-17 to Canada. Those results, though in defeat, show a vast improvement from those attained by Uganda Sevens team at an international tournament of that stature. Coach Tolbert Onyango will, however, make do minus 3 key players, Philip Wokrach, James Odongo and Desire Ayela, who all got injured. They will be replaced by Lawrence Sebuliba Alhaji Manano and Adriano Casito for the Cape Town 7 series next weekend. Yes, from wherever you are, we thank you so much for watching. Michael Jordan Lukomwa, Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team here, we wish you the best of the seasons we're starting. Let's catch you tomorrow, but keep watching for our other programs. Good night.